New data about the death of Thomas Kingston has been revealed. Yesterday we were telling you, well, the cause of death now. Well, some media outlets are analyzing the circumstances of that process and how everything happened. The truth is that in this regard now, well, speculations have grown in the past videos I was telling you about. So the focus had been on his father-in-law, Michael of Kent, or Michael de Kent as you may call him, a bit because of his controversial profile. Now the eye was on the widow, Lady Gabriella Windsor. Suddenly, when all this came up, let me tell you a little bit about the image this couple had in the UK. Public friendly, friendly to the public. Well, a nice couple who hadn't had children, and apparently reality could be harsher than what was initially told. The truth is, the sketch isn't very clear. I'm going to give you all the data that exists about it and see what conclusion we draw. But I'll tell you that there are several theories. First, a smokescreen to cover the issue of William and Kate Middleton is talked about, even about succession to the crown. I don't know, a bit about what this would have to do with a marriage, so to speak, failed, but subject to appearances, and even a bomb that will come out in the coming days related to the widow. And that would make sense, everything regarding the death of Thomas Kingston. Let's analyze it. I'll give you the data, and let's see why this sketch seems quite complicated to me. Yesterday, I was telling you a little bit about the conclusions of the coroner in the last video. Now it seems that there is more data. It is insisted that he was found dead in his parents' house. Let's remember that when the information came out, there were media outlets that didn't agree with this, and I've maintained that some media published that this famous house worth over £3 million did not belong to Thomas Kingston's parents. Well, the investigation by the Leicester Coroner's Court, which by the way remains open. This is not a closed case, has determined all the circumstances of the aristocrat's death. It says the facts occurred last Sunday after he had lunch at his parents' house. Only important detail to consider. Martin Kingston, his father, left him alone when he went out to walk the dogs. And upon returning, since no one answered his call, he considered that there was no one in the house. Half an hour later, his wife, Jill, the mother, who knew he hadn't left the house, went to look for him. Since he didn't answer, she forced the door, finding the body. So it was the mother who found. Well, the corpse, the doctors, and the police. They arrived at the building, and well, what we told you yesterday, a traumatic head injury, was the main cause of death of the son-in-law of the Princes Michael of Kent, as confirmed by Katie Scarrett, who is the chief coroner I told you about yesterday. The first data says that it has not been pointed out as a traumatic injury, but it has been mentioned that at the scene there was a gun. We were called by the ambulance service on Sunday at 6:25. Let's remember that they found him at 6:40, if I'm not mistaken, a report of the death of a 45-year-old man at an address in Cott. The death is not treated as suspicious, and a file is sent to the coroner. A police statement at that precise moment begins a thorough investigation at the scene, assisted by Dr. Jones, in charge of the autopsy. With this data, they seek to clarify what exactly happened. And well, they say that the reason for the absence of the family, well, I don't know what it was, says the death was known hours after the commemoration of the anniversary of Constantine of Greece at the St. George's Chapel in Windsor Castle. And that was the reason for the family's absence. The parents, the in-laws were... I don't know if Michael and Jill were there, but, well, I don't understand a little bit here. Maybe they have merged. Well, and they talk about the statement and other things. Let's see. Things that catch the attention. Well, first, the matter of the house, it's the parents who discover him. A fact that was kept hidden until 24 hours ago. And it really catches the attention. Catches the attention because it would have added normality to the issue. Second, from what I've read, the issue of firearms works a little like in Spain. If you are a hunter, you have to keep the weapon in a glass cabinet or visible cabinet under lock and key. And of course, a firearms license. Where did this guy get the gun? In the event that it was suicide, why? Because the theories being handled are that it was not suicide, but that he was murdered. And in this sense, suspects are being sought about this guy's parents. There is nothing shady or strange, at least from what I've been able to find, and I have been investigating a lot. No, this guy's father is a person who comes from a humble family, becomes a lawyer, prospers, and he gives his son a career, right? And well, from there, they begin to mingle a little with the elites of the United Kingdom and with the circles of the royals. Nothing unusual. In this morning's video, which was about Kate Middleton, I was telling you that briefly today there are statements in the British media from friends of Thomas Kingston from his circle who don't understand it. Yes, it's true that we can think that in the end it's a matter of personal issues and all that. But they can't explain it, they can't believe it. And initially, there wouldn't be anything to suggest to them that this guy would decide to end his life in any way. The investigation continues open, I insist. Another theory that is being put forward is that apparently this person could be a spy, and that in spy matters, well, they could have taken him out. Well, I see this theory a bit vague and lacking consistency. The other one would have to do with the widow with Gabriella Windsor, some kind of black. Widow theory, a theory that I also don't see too much veracity in. But well, they talk a little about the marriage, and they say that the marriage was far from the public image they could give, that it was on the rocks, that the lady wasn't happy in her marriage, and that very soon, a bomb related to this girl is going to come out. And that bomb is being speculated on social media. It could be a posthumous pregnancy. Well, a pregnancy doesn't mean absolutely anything, in fact. I would say that it's even cause for joy, especially with people who seemingly have their lives sorted out. Of course, the issue is what social media is speculating. Who would be the father of that baby? This coincides a bit with the theory of that supposed double life of Thomas, who they said was gay or bisexual. Well, we had already commented on this, that he was gay or bisexual, that he had other preferences beyond his marriage with this girl. They say that he was a good guy, attended weekly mass, not daily mass, but weekly mass, that he complied somewhat with the protocols, and with these appearances of a British royal couple, well, classic if we want to call it that way, well, we don't know. Then they said no, that this guy didn't have any vices or anything strange, that in fact we see here in the images. This guy doesn't look 45 years old. This man didn't look 45 years old. It's true that it's the wedding a few years before, but you give this man about 40 years. Well, I certainly don't. And in this sense, we have to say there's another theory about the succession. The truth is that I don't understand it here, and I'm going to limit myself to saying the facts because it really has been quite difficult for me to digest. They say that in the last days of Queen Elizabeth II, apparently certain lobbies of Prince William were trying to conspire for him to be the successor and not his father, Charles III, that even another theory was put forward by which Charles III takes the succession, not giving it to his son, because apparently his son wouldn't be interested in obtaining the throne. If neither William nor Harry were interested in obtaining the throne, with Harry being the regent in some way, it was going to be Prince Andrew. Well, a very strange thing. Well, the connection with all this of Thomas Kingston is that it seems that initially Michael of Kent and his wife, a typical couple as we said yesterday, the lady walks with the lover, while the gentleman is a Mason, pro-Russian, and I don't know how many other things. But well, that doesn't make them, as I say, suspects of a crime like that. Apparently they wanted, since their girl was in the line of succession and considered their son-in-law as a good person in this sense, to propose him for the throne. I really am amazed by this theory. There is more to it, but I really get lost. I think I'm not the only one with all this. People can't believe it. And in these conspiracy theories of whether he committed suicide or was murdered, there is also a somewhat strange twist that we had already talked about here about. The smokescreen to stop all the scandal of Kate Middleton, which seems to be going on for a long time. This is not going to end after Easter. No way. Well, the royal house, the communication departments, those advisors, would be working to put all the focus right now on the death of Thomas Kingston and on a scandal that is coming from Gabriella Windsor. Today I came across a headline from the Sands Diary that didn't pay much attention to this. And he goes back again with Harry if Harry has to apologize to his brother, to his father, really. I mean, it's nonsense that, moreover, I think people don't buy it anymore. They don't buy it anymore with so much nonsense, especially when such serious and grave things like this happen. For now, and I haven't seen it in any British media, nobody is wondering if there will be a funeral or if there will be a mass, which, being so traditional, at least catches my attention. If Kate Middleton is missing, this girl is also, and I don't know to what extent they want to portray her as some kind of black widow. What's clear is that all this is very strange. A guy who initially had absolutely nothing. There are talks of problems in the marriage and financial issues, but I sincerely don't think it's strong enough for someone to want to take their own life, obviously. All this is very personal, and each one decides, well, or their mind clouds to have to reach that kind of decision. But if there's something more, why is this girl missing? The smokescreen theory, I think, with its nuances, could hold some truth. But as we say, the investigation is still open at the moment, waiting a bit to see what may happen. And if suddenly things take a turn, it surprises me that there are no statements from her parents, who must be going through a terrible time right now, being the ones who, as it was revealed today, found him. It surprises me that they didn't notice anything strange that day because their son usually goes there to their parents' house instead of, I don't know, somewhere else. Why are there so many contradictory information dances? Well, we don't know, but right now the British royal family is accumulating problems. By the way, I have to make a correction from the previous video. I mentioned that Felipe and Sofia had gone because I read it in a media outlet, Felipe with his mother, but Letizia hadn't attended. Now it seems that they did attend late in the afternoon. I'm correcting it, but as I say, that information about Felipe and Sofia attending in the morning or at noon came from a media outlet, and that's how I read it. You can check it out and judge for yourselves, but if we have to correct it, there's no problem either. Apart from this, it seems that it won't end. It's like an Agatha Christie novel, a gun that appears, a man with a traumatic head wound, and no one has specifically mentioned suicide. But well, perhaps we'll have to wait, or I don't know, nothing more. Opinions in the comments, subscribe, hit the bell, like to support the channel. I leave you here with more videos, and on the secondary channel, sorry for the voice. Thank you for being there.